As you know, I think there are a lot of people in Beijing who are very concerned about China's dependence upon the dollar-based global financial system, and there have been efforts to create a yuan-based alternative. Do you think that will be successful, or is China stuck with the dollar-based system for the foreseeable future?
This is a lovely old chestnut, Pete. I mean, I think to 3 or 4 years ago, people asking me to Yuan internationalization conferences because I don't think they liked the answer I was giving them. So the Chinese government clearly was let down, as many others were actually in 2008 by the great financial crisis. And it did not do America's version of kind of global capitalism any favors whatsoever. So from that moment onwards, really, there have been voices that are basically saying, we have to develop an alternative system. We're too dependent on the dollar. The world is too dependent on the dollar. And I think this has now acquired a sort of an almost kind of geopolitical hue as well. The trouble is it's quite difficult, right? I mean, we've only ever had 2 reserve currencies in the world. One was sterling and the other is the US dollar. And inertia is a very big reason why it's very difficult to shift that. But beyond that, you can only have a truly global reserve currency if you do one of 2 things. Either you have to run permanent trade deficits. In other words, you have to have a shortfall of savings over investment or below investment, which means that you have to change the entire Chinese economic model to do that, which they're not willing to do. Or you have to have open capital flows and trusted capital markets and institutions, which both of these methods would allow foreigners to accumulate claims in yuan on China. Otherwise, you can't really have a global currency. That's just fact. So if you want to make a pitch for, will the yuan become a rival to the US dollar, you have to either assume that China's economic development model is going to be turned upside down, or that it's going to open up its capital account to Chinese firms and Chinese households and Chinese richer citizens to export capital freely and willingly. And I think both of those things are very, very unlikely to happen. I won't say ever, but certainly under this government. So I don't really think, I think China's RMB or the yuan will be probably used more to denominate bond issues, oil or commodity contracts, for example, very popular kind of theme at the moment. So its usage in the world can increase, certainly, to something like where the yen is, or sterling, or the Aussie dollar, or Swiss franc, for example. But I think it's going to be, it would be defying the laws of gravity to actually think that it could actually rival the euro or the dollar as things stand. If things change, things could change, obviously.